What's up guys, Bloodshed here. Today we're going to talk about Primal Ancients. They're slated for patch 2.5 and season 10 Diablo 3. Now, I've spent this last week, if you've watched me on the live stream, farming Primal Ancients every possible way, whether it be through blood shards or upgrading rares, identifying legendaries. This is what we've been doing all week. It's been Primal Week here on the stream. So I thought I would make a video, share my findings with you guys. It's by no means a complete sample size. It's very small, but I just kind of wanted to share my experience this past week or so. Upgrading rares seems to be okay. We upgraded rares this week. Once I added up all the data, we upgraded 730 rares, and I was getting Primal Ancients at a 0.8% chance. So like every 120 or so, we would get a one Primal Ancient. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is a lot of crafting materials, and the chance of you getting like a bad Primal Ancient is extremely high. I haven't had one usable Primal Ancient this whole week. All the ones you're seeing in the video, the flashy ones, those are from the community. So people are getting them. Just me personally, I have not been getting them. But upgrading rares seems to be okay. It's about, maybe some people have a higher RNG than me. Maybe people are at 1 or 1.2. But 1% seems to be like the going rate, I guess, the drop rate as far as upgrading rares go in the cube. The problem I noticed, okay, the big problem that I noticed was identifying legendaries. So you take, you run a rift, or you run a greater rift, or you're farming goblins, or whatever you're doing, bounties, and you're just identifying regular ass legendaries. We took 816 legendaries this week, okay? 816 identified legendaries. Most of this farming was done live on stream, like 80% was done live on stream. And I got one legendary this entire week for primals. Now, I could have really bad RNG, like they didn't turn on the streamer buff for me or something on the PTR, but 816 legendaries and only one primal, and it was an executioner. Yeah, it was a useless executioner. It didn't roll anything of use. Is a really bad primal, and we've gotten every day we get 30, 40 ancients, and the primals that we do get are just really bad. These numbers are not even talking about the enormous amount of blood shards I spent. I mean, I rolled shards the entire week, and I always did the 25-point variety. That way I can get the most flips possible. I didn't keep track of that, but I mean, a week's worth of blood shards, no legendaries either. As far as using the Law of Cool recipe, like flipping legendaries in the cube, I was getting a little bit higher, like a 1.1% chance to get a primal. Like out of 100, I would get one before I hit the 100 every time. I mean, again, the problem for me is that they weren't usable. Like every weapon I got had vitality. It rolled a socket. Both are useless. It rolled life on hit, very useless. A lot of the primals people were linking in chat had area damage, plus damage. So again, maybe my RNG this week has been in the dumpster. But yeah, so people ask me, Blood, what would you do to fix primals? Blood, what would you do? And I said it in my last video, but I kind of reiterate again. I would love if we were able to re-roll one primary property and one secondary property, because what's going to happen. You're going to get a helmet, and it's going to have life on hit as a secondary, and you have no choice if you're a DPS or anyone with a brain to roll the fear off, because it's just going to wreck your group. It's going to, you're going to roll max fear on hit. You're going to roll max fear on hit if anything. So a lot of these things you don't want, all the weapons I got, no area damage, no plus damage, no attack speed, none of the weapons. It's crazy, not one. So if we can roll one primary at the very least, and this is at the very least, I would love a full customization of primals to give them a better identity and to kind of make them stand out. Yeah, I would love a secondary property to be rolled and a primary property at the very least. I know they don't get identified until you use the book, until you identify them yourself. But if they could just pre-roll when they hit the ground, like how you see a green beam or orange beam, if they could maybe have them roll beforehand, that way when you see the red beam on the ground, that shit just looks like on fuego, right? We're like, oh my god, that's a red beam, we're excited. That would help to give them more of an identity. I don't know how the logistics are going to work out if they, pre-roll the item. The item still can be identifiable, but if we know it's going to be a primal beforehand, that would increase the hype of the item. That's what I would say. That would give it more of an identity. Some people have said like when it drops or when you identify it, it has like some kind of primal roar. I don't know, like a lion's roar. That would be pretty cool too. I mean, I don't really play with game sounds that much, but that would be pretty cool. I can see that. So yeah, those are like my changes to give them more of an identity. You don't have to give them a plus damage increase to make me happy. Of course, I would love a new gear tier. I was part of the old primal regime, but I would find a middle ground if we can just roll the 2 properties, possibly give us red beam, and possibly some sound effects. Some of the bros out there want some morale, you know what I mean? Anyways, guys, that's gonna be all for me today. I just wanted to share my results from testing these all week long. I just think that the current version of these primals is pretty underwhelming, and they need more of an identity, like something else to make them stand apart. Otherwise, just remove them and bring them back when they're ready. Anyways, guys, that's all for me today. Big shout out to my twitch.tv bros out there. Big shout out to my patrons who help make these videos possible. I will see you guys later. I'm out of here. Peace.